Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. And today comes with the extra caveat of I'm not a financial advisor. I am not your financial advisor, and I should not be giving advice, but that's not stopping me. So, Tel Dahan has asked me, what do I think of TSYY? And gave me the scenario of he has $60,000 and he wants to change his portfolio so that he gets the most, at least I'm assuming you're a guy, but that they get the most amount of money. They want to get $5,000 a month in the fastest way possible. And I like doing thought exercises like that. So let's start with TSYY. I think that these new funds are really good. And I'm talking about FEET, 5e, TSYY, and GBTY. Like all of these, like they're going to be good funds, I suspect, but they just do not have, like they've not actually been live and in the market for long enough to actually recommend them to people. So you will actually have to do your own research and research the underlying and be comfortable with this. So if you like Tesla, actually, if you look at the total real returns since December, and remember it's been kind of a rough couple of months, TSLP, TSSY, and TSYY and TSLY have all outperformed the underlying, which is nice. TSLY had a problem for a long time of it got capped too early, and then it dropped whenever Tesla dropped, and so it never recovered, and then, it dropped again. So now that they can do spreads, I'm pretty sure Tesla is doing better. I'm not invested in it. I don't pay that much attention to it. But because TSYY, they are a 2x leverage, you would have a lot more money than everybody else. You would have $10,792 versus, $8,693. We could add TSLL, right? Because I chose for my portfolio TSYY over everything else for now until we have more data. So if you had the straight up 1.5x, I thought that was a 2x, but the leverage TSLL, you would have less money than TSLA, which makes sense because the market's been down. So TSYY, if you're just going by the last month, would be the winner, but we don't know how it's going to perform in every situation because it's not been out for very long. But they do sell puts to generate income through options premium collected. So I think that's why I was watching Retire on Dividends at some point, and basically his opinion was, okay, well, I can put out my own options on TSLL and get the premium, and it would be the same thing if you're just going to do puts and it's not fancy in any way. But I mean, the same could be said for Tesla. Like, you can put out a leap and write cover calls on that on Tesla if you would like. I think for there's a few things going on with it. Like, Tesla itself doesn't trade within the Bollinger Bands, so you will lose your bet more often, which means that it's not as well suited to be in a cover call ETF. At least that's from what I've gathered from the past performance. But on the other hand, cover call ETFs are probably safer if you want to run options on Tesla, because you still own whatever shares you bought into, no matter what. If it goes up or down, you still get paid. So just putting that out there, that I like TSYY. I have it in my portfolio. I mean, not like a lot. I think I have 1 share. I have 2 shares of TSYY. I'm a baller. But I also have TSLL. So this is my Tesla holding that I have as a unit. So as for how do we most efficiently get you to $5,000? If you can, and you're not afraid of crypto and leverage and doing your own options, I have found, because, I made $5,000 last month through distributions, and I'm at like $40,000. Well, now I'm at $47,000, including the margin. So it can be done, but I also have about 50% of my portfolio in MSTY, which really helps getting to that $5,000. And the thing to understand about MSTU and writing, because right now it's really cheap, and you can put contracts out that are like $900 for the entire contract, and you get $50. That's a 200% return. Like, if you're getting 200% return and it's MicroStrategy, which is something that I want, and it's leverage, but it's also $9 per share, like, it's cheap enough. There's a difference to me in my own psychology of, if I'm going to do an option trade, having $700 of collateral is different than almost $70,000. It just is to me psychologically. So if you can do options, you're not afraid of options, MSTU. If you don't want to deal with that, or you're not in a place that you can do it, or whatever circumstance, it looks like, and you're not afraid of crypto, you can do a combination for now of YBTC, LFGY, and probably YMAG. YMAG has a better total return than YMAX, but you could do all 4. Heck, include XDTE. Basically take all 5 of these, the distribution you get from it, and split it into 5 and just reinvest that way. I just don't think that LFGY it hasn't been in existence long enough to recommend it. So I wouldn't put all of my money in it. And, if YBTC goes down, or I guess if Bitcoin goes through the winter and it's no longer as volatile for a couple of years, you do not want 100% of your portfolio in crypto. So having it in YBTC, LFG, YMAG, and XDTE, YMAG or YMAX or both, I think that will get you to your $5,000 pretty quickly. And if you look down in like the different groups, in group A, even though it hasn't been around for very long, I would go with 5e, but feet works too. If you're just looking for the most distribution, then feet. And that's just so that you're not so heavily in crypto and crypto related things, which, speaking of crypto related things, do not get Murney, even though it is the highest distribution right now, or you would have the highest amount of distributions. I would go with these 3, and I don't know what your tolerance is to having that many ETFs. I don't know if it's going to be confusing for you, but if I had to choose one, probably Palantir. NVIDIA is a good long-term hold, but the volatility of it has been less, so the distributions have gone down. And Maro is pretty good, but it's also Bitcoin related, so if you're going to be an LFGY and YBTC, do you really need a different kind of Bitcoin or crypto related thing, or do you want to be in AI stocks? So then Group C, I would actually skip and just reinvest whatever you have in the weekly. And then MSTY is obviously, Group D is obviously MSTY. A lot of people also still like AMZY. It's not a high payer, but it's pretty consistent. And then your NAV is also pretty consistent. So XPay is interesting because they choose the distribution from the NAV value on December 31st, and they just pay that amount every month. So if there's a day like today where the entire market dropped, you could get XPay for less money, and therefore the distribution would be higher. So that might be a good option. It's one of those unique gimmicks that I don't think that the high income ETF community, like, I don't think it had much appeal. Like, it was interesting to me to dive into it to figure out how it worked, but I'm not sure if there's going to be a big buy-in from the community. And then ZVol is based off of volatility itself, so that would be a good thing to get into, but it's also like SVol, they move in tandem with equities, so I wanted it to be the hedge, but it moves in the same direction, so when there's a big drop, SVol also goes down. And so you could also get into YETH, which is Ethereum. I think it's a spot ETF for income, but it's doing rather well, and this gets you really, really close to your $5,000 that you want. And a lot of people have been saying that they've been really happy with Maxi, but I would also do kind of the same thing where whatever you pick from week 4, like if you want to choose ETH, pick AIPI and FEPI, because Rex does a really good job of keeping their NAV, and I do believe in crypto. More than 50% of my portfolio is crypto, but it's not the most reliable, and if you need to rely on this, you probably don't want to be earning 100% distribution, or at least have to earn 100% distribution. So like get to your $5,000, and then my recommendation is to then use the distributions to pay it forward into a more reliable ETF, and just keep, waterfalling it so that if there is a very large market correction, you don't, like, your finances aren't that disrupted. But that's just me. So I always think Usoi is like oil. Oh, it is oil. See? Anyways, I don't want to invest in oil. I think that we should be going into solar energy because it is cheaper to produce and is renewable, basically. But, you do you. Oh, another option is to just buy BITO, and you can run cover calls yourself on BITO and do basically a honest dividend wheel on BITO, and you will earn more money. So it is possible for you to actually earn $5,000 with $60,000 with just BITO. This is just the distribution, so you could earn the premium and with those contracts, and probably how many? Yeah, you would have 3,000 shares, so you could put like 2,000 of them at any one time in a cover call, and you would probably get $5,000, and that's pretty easy, and it's Bitcoin. And so the thing about MicroStrategy and MSTU is that MSTU is a 2x of MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy is also a leveraged Bitcoin, and Bitcoin acts like it's leveraged. So it's at some point you have to ask yourself, what is way, way too much leverage? So BITO is on Bitcoin, and so I'm not saying that Bitcoin's not volatile, it is, but it's like more straightforward. So yeah, MSTY pays a lot, but BITO also pays a lot, and you can just do cover calls on it. So, in conclusion, I'm also a fan of just like sprinting to the thing, to the dollar amount that you need. And I chose MSTY. I was like, I need $3,000 a month, and I need to get there as efficiently as possible. And so I, like 60% of my portfolio was MSTY, and I got to 3,000 and good. But now that I've reached my goal, I am looking into reinvesting into more stable and more reliable funds. Also, like with the caveat that I am actually in a weird position at the beginning of this year because I'm paying off my 0% credit cards. So I'm not reinvesting exactly like I would be liking to, but I do gravitate more towards fund of funds or basket of stocks or broad market ETFs. So I do believe that XDTE will be your long-term better option. But if you need $5,000 right now, then we do have options. Like YBTC pays you $4,368, but if you do, BITO's $3,000, but you could also run your own options. So maybe if you only want a smattering, I would choose YBTC, LFGY, and YMAG, and XDTE. So like 4. 4 is not too much. And you just invest the same amount in them, and you take the distributions, you pull them together, divide it by 4, and you invest in those. And that way you have a little bit of a hedge with the broad market ETF, but not enough that it'll disrupt your goal of getting to $5,000 too much. So, yeah, that's my opinion on this. Is there are a lot of really cool funds that I would really love for them to have more than 1 or 2 months of existence of us being able to pay for them, because in theory things should work some way, but using historical data, and there's never going to be 2 market situations that are exactly alike, but things do rhyme, and you can say it like in generality, like this will work in this type of situation because we've seen this kind of situation before. So hopefully that answered your question. If not, please say something in the comments down below, and I'll try to explain my thoughts more. So, are you in Tesla? And if so, are you doing TSLP, or did you decide to do TSYY, or are you still in Tesla? And I will talk to you all later. Bye.